Okay, so I'm back on. I am live. It took me a minute. It took me a minute to get on. And so I'm supposed to oh, I'm doing a lot of multitasking. I'm so pleased with myself that I actually came on here. So I am live. Oh, by the way, I keep looking over here because I like the television version. I know I should just, I'm so used to watching everything from this monitor, which is a flat screen. Okay, so, okay, yeah, I'm on. Basically, okay, I'm already tuned in psychically. I have a feeling that the person was like, yeah, be here. So I came in a little early specifically for this one person, and I'm getting a hunch. I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt, but I'm already feeling like not likely. I don't like this light. Oh my gosh. But I'm gonna be honest with you, the quality I know is better when I turn on the light. So like, why is it sling so dark? That's because I refuse to sit under these hot lights. It's wet. Anyway, but I'm having a great night. I've been having a lot of fun. I was in the chat box, so in other people's streams. So I really enjoy that, and like the conversations. So I'm sorting out right now. I'm just sorting out my mind. Today's live stream throughout the day should be, I guess, should flow like a series. Uh, yeah, this is actually my longest day. So this goes all the way to okay. So it's 10 o'clock their time. It's 4 o'clock my time. So throughout the day, and I need throughout the day, I'll probably go live. But I also have to set up the things that I'm going to talk about via my Twitter, um, which I have plenty of time to do. I should wait till 4 because yeah, this is an off day for me. I think is it? Yes. I'm off today, so this is technically my long day for the one for another one. Okay, so I have my evening off, so I can begin working on the. I'm supposed to work with the Twitter, and here we go. It's a pleasure. Welcome, Donald here. Mhm. Okay. Mhm. Welcome. A pleasure. Hmm. Okay. Mm. Okay. Mm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Very nice. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm. Okay. 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 Right. This is a beautiful dream. It's like a rare dream because it's talking to the macrocosm. Like it means that you're actually taking the time to look at the universe, the universal chapters of your life as well. And the people who are playing out more or less, it's like as this story as this, the events are taking place where you become to noticing, these particularly these unique stars. It's or these are, like you said, these are constellations. You start to acknowledge the constellations forming. That means these represents huge events, like a life event. So you have a huge life event that they are asking for you to pay close attention to. That's what the constellation represents. Specifically, okay, so we know, okay, we have the constellations you named, right? They're not the ones that we say are on our astrological belt, the zodiac belt, right? However, these constellations still, I mean, of course they exist, and of course the astrologers, they read those. So I even believe, and so I'm saying furthermore, there's a significance to the plow, the dog, like the ones that you were naming off, and this very important alignment. Universe is giving you direct answers. This represents alignments that make sense, that are, as you would say, planetary. But I really would pay attention to the fact that they're talking about, like the type of an alignment that you said once in a lifetime. You think of the Saturn's return. Generically speaking, people say, "Oh, we know that," because everyone knows the Saturn's return, once in a lifetime, big major change and shift in life. Everyone goes through at least once, and so this is similar. I mean, the analogy is correct. Is what I'm saying. So I like that part, and also like the idea that you're, as you say, I get the feeling that you're following or listening even to your guides more. Like you're a little bit more relaxed working with the guides, and to follow, I guess, the narrative or the story of the dream. So you're able to sort of navigate while you're when you're over there. Um, so so something major we need to pay very close attention to. This also is an analog, like a, what do you call it? And we have to analyze an analyzing dream. So, like, I have a feeling that you're going to ponder this dream for a while, because since it's talking about something as as major, of a life occurrence, but it's going to be favorable. The outcome, it will be favorable, and I get the sense that it has everything to do with, like, standing firmly. I get the sense of adventure, the ability to pull back before one goes too far, not being caught up in the wind. I get the strong sense that like there is even a story, like a mythological story behind this. I believe that it represents protection or guard, like the sense of like because you become aware, you also know what you are guarding. Like you're aware of what must be protected, what are we on guard for. I get that strong sense as well, and this is allowing for you to, like they say, to press on forward. I feel like this is about the ability to go forward. That's the that's the of course that's the connection with the constellations. Something major will happen that allows you to go forward, but it's like, okay, when is it worth navigating in this way? Because sometimes it kind of sounds like a confrontation is in order of sorts, or something that you must make a firm decision to leave behind. It can be actions. It could be something that was like a bit of a kind of like a routine. And I wouldn't say a habit, but I definitely would say a routine. And sometimes this doesn't really feel that it's about people necessarily. It feels more personal, like personalized or individual specifically to you, is what I gather. That's what I'm picking up on. So there's a lot to say to this. So okay, you mentioned a constellation that's surrounding like a dog. That one is protection. That one also guards the entrance to things. Um, and then definitely is what if I may recall. This other one is about endings. Like it's like having closure and endings, preparing to take what they say to leave off the shores. To sail, to set sail. These kinds of, but it always speaks of endings. So that's why I felt that something major here. You're realizing what's important and why it's important, and to protect that ground, or protect the process, is what I'm picking up on. It's shy of opportunity. I still get the sense that opportunity is a little farther up. So it's like something like a major event must take place, or a major shift, and then of course the opportunity, natural, sort of like organically moving into this new space where you enter into the new area. The, the new area would be, okay. Let's see. I'm entering into a cloud. They said, this is your something that, okay, this is part of your decision or judgment. Some elements that are considered to be making a call. I have to make this call. I have to make this decision, like judgment call. But the cloud represents thoughts, not clouded judgment, but the thoughts, and you're making this discerning decisions. Um, my guides, well, the guides are also okay. So that happens. Let's see. There's something that you're getting. It's like an on switch. You're soon to flip on the on switch. Is what I'm picking up on. The light comes on, and that's when I feel like I'm in a room. Okay, I feel the sense of being in a room. This is your personal space. You're in your personal space, and someone whom you're meant to engage with hasn't haven't stepped forward yet. I have a feeling that this is actually applied to a project or program. It may even have a lot to do with your program to taking your career to the next stage. I feel like it has something in this realm. Um, I feel like I'm also leaping ahead because I don't think that this realization that's meant to be had has been experienced quite yet, but it's something that we're making sense of. So what happens what is this major decision around? I believe it has a lot to do with things career related clearly, but then it talks about um, actually having stepped forward into the process of when you cross into the new territory. That's what's coming up, and that's the first time that I actually see a person. But I'm also seeing, it's like I'm looking into the mirror as well. It feels like there's just a reflection of you, Rebecca. It feels like it's you. Actually, the person that I'm seeing is like a reflection of self. So I believe that's you, They say that's you recognizing yourself in the future, moving into this career space. This they said they're showing me like a car starting. They said this is like my career is starting, but they're literally showing, oh, it's like I'm starting the car. It's like, oh my gosh, my career is starting, or this section of my career experience is starting. So that's where this dream is pointing towards. It's like what's that saying? To any constellation, this is what it is. That's what these constellations represent. Things that are meant to align, things that are meant to align in like a very short span of time. Once in like it takes so long to prepare for this. Like you said, takes like was one, what do they call it? One experience, like one experience. That's what's playing out. I get the sense that something wonderful is getting ready to take place, and your spiritual guides taking you along the journey, and you're witnessing that journey. That's what that represents. Mm-hmm. The individuals that are also present in the, I guess, in this dream. They keep mentioning vehicle. I know you didn't mention a vehicle, but I think that these personalities symbolize a vehicle, like a spiritual vehicle. I apologize, like a spiritual vehicle or life vehicle, where you're able to travel the path. This is the vehicle to get to what you say, consciously to the right destination, in which that's where you're heading. You're heading to the correct destination, is what they're revealing. And these guides are saying, like, they're, I guess, pointing out very specific like things for you to. It's like a lot of acknowledgement about what you're looking at. Like seizing the moment type of language. I keep like you keep mentioning about seizing the moment is what I'm referencing. So I get the sense that that's this is kind of like, don't worry, you have the ability, to do these things. Wow, like a one lifetime, an opportunity. It's your time now. Like I get a lot of that. Don't worry, you're in a good place or a good space. I get that kind of energy. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm. With you taking silk, that's the project that I was referring to. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Right. Okay. She felt very much like a spirit guide because there are two. One is carrying you there, and the other one is keeping watch. you know, this one feels like she's meant to carry you there, like she's meant to carry you. She gets you to the place, and then there's one that you would say, "Oh, you're always with me." I believe that's who comes through in the form of the gentleman, and I felt that he's the one that you interact with because there's one that will talk to you, but there's one that's more like I guess the action, kind of like I will be your driver or your your chaperone while you're here. And then there's the other one who's engaging you, but of course, likened to someone you know, because now this one is called your companion. We're all, you're blessed. Okay, so we know how they say you have two angels. So one of them is your companion, right? And then there's one that shows up when time is crucial, like a very important times. So the one that's with you, because there's one that's with you all the time, every second. But then there's one that you will, at least you will notice that one when something major is going to happen. So when you see them both, or when you see this particular one, and that means something big is going to happen, and it's because so it's very rare, like this one time event constellation that the one was talking about. Like, this is a very rare. You probably won't see one of these ever again. Well, I've never seen this before. Like moments like this in a vision dream, what you're having, that's when the one that is the rare one will show up. Mm-hmm. Yes, because she get that's the one. In fact, I believe both of them, by the way, indeed are, as you would say, your friend, like your spiritual guides. I do get that strong sense, and I'm just making sure. So I was right about the protection, like the constellations are about protection. Of course, we felt that, even to the right down to the nitty gritty when I mentioned about Pluto. Um, that's the strength. That's the protection. That's where the dog represents, and they guard openings, right? Hence, okay, and of course the what do you call it? I believe, something like a shovel. I'm not sure. What the first one. I'm sorry. Yes, plow, the plow. So I picked up. So that one is representing the endings of, like, something that is in passing. That's what that represents. So this is describing things in which you, yes, through the passing you get, some people might say, an inheritance, or you get success through victory. You get victory from it as well. It's ancient language, so I'm being mindful, to stay in good taste. But pretty much it says this, because this is past and waned. Now there's room for, as you say, when the sun rises. It's like sun sets in life, and then the sun will rise again. Some people call it, the dead of night, or the night of soul, the winter season of the soul. But because there's always that looking towards the spring. That's what you're experiencing. That's what you're witnessing now. So I was, yeah, yep. I did a little, multitask. So that's what it represents, right down to the, of course, the Pluto element. By the way, that's a success. Also, it's aligned with money. So, and also transformation. So this is like your one. You know how they say, when we think of, like, the Salmon, right, to Pisces, when they're from in their cycle, they've got one shot to get to the place where they're going to, they say, go through the whole process of life. So it's like that. It's like you said, this one doorway, this one opportunity, this one rare moment, out of they then of course they were saying, to any constellation, you've got a big chance, and you're going to take hold of it. So that's what they're talking about. That's what this dream represents. And of course, your guides are cementing your success, saying, "Don't worry, no worries. We're going to get there. We're going to come through just fine." That's what these represent. That's what the symbols here represent. Hmm. Yes, I'm very critical. What do you call it? Like, yeah, it's like, it's got to be. You got to be perfect. You got to get those right, because you want what the stars have to offer, but you want to, whichever the gift coming from that, you like to get the exact gift that they're describing. So I was just making sure is yeah, that's this means that you're definitely protected as you're entering the door, and though it may feel strange or like it might feel like oh my gosh, this is a surprise. It's like, do I even want to approach? It's like yes, you do. Yes, the this protection is there for you specifically. Besides having your guides there, besides the guides, putting your, maybe the tension to rest. Mm-hmm. 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 In your favor. Oh, yeah, that means triumph. Okay. Yes. Oh, everything you're describing about Ben, your symbol for success and well, to triumph over, that's the dog, the plow. It represents triumph as you approach the door. And you said you from Ben, well, you're telling me. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I was following. I'm following along. mm, mm, mm. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. Yes. Uh oh. Mm-hmm. mm-hmm. Right. Okay. Okay. Mm. Okay. Oh my. Mm-hmm. Right. Um. Let's okay. We're gonna do a an approach to this and ask the guys like what will be. Of course, you want to ask him what will his reaction be. Should you go with to decide to post? Okay, got you. So they're saying, well, it will get to him on and off again. He'll just feel disconnected. Um, okay, okay. I'll get the answers. Hmm. Okay. Yes. Okay, so I multitask out of all of the answers here. Basically, he'll feel disconnected, and if you did this post like around this time frame though, over between now and November, he will eased up about it and he'd be more cool headed about it. Now, I'm reading this as though the action is we're looking at, okay, I do the post, what's his reaction? What is he going to do? And even later on, will he be a problem, as you say, um, running for silk? And so they say that okay, so it will feel like maybe this is like an opponent whom you're needing to sort of play both sides with, like kind of be nice at the same time, but also we are nemesis. you know we do sometimes have to, that's the name of the game. Sometimes we're on each other's team, sometimes we're actually in opposites, we're opposing each other. And so he respects that, and as long as we're very clear in our intentions, they said that as time progresses, you do win him over, even if you decide to post this. So then I did a second, like another variation just to make certain. They said the only, okay, so first of all, November happens, you're celebrating your win. He doesn't, what do you call it? He doesn't try to, say, okay, putting in for them to look at it again. He doesn't go any further with that. And you two do end up working together again in the future. Whether that is, like you said, he to assist with your silk, moving into silk. They said that the cycle represents all of the possibilities of working together, number one. And as long as we are committed, again, it's all about how focused. Well, you're going to be very focused. I know that. I know when you do begin your. That's the reason why you wanted to hold off for now with silk, so that when you begin the journey, you're going to be all of mind and heart in this, and so you are going to be very much committed, and that's when he will be there for you, and there will not be a regret that you posted this. And actually his mind is very relaxed, like he's very calm, somber, like it's like his mind is not focused on, oh, remember that post, I have to, this is get backs. It's more like, yeah, you win some, lose some, you're good, I'm a good, like he's a good, I'm not gonna say that he's not gonna be best friend or even the best, like a nemesis that you say, well, we challenge each other but we always can work together when it's called to when we're called to work together. I wouldn't push it that far, but I would at least would say that is he you will have the ability to work with him. I will say that much. We can give him that. He's more cool minded. Like, hey, that happened in the past. That was a good run. Hey, I gave it my best. But he leaves it there. He doesn't bring that up as reason to stifle your journey to becoming silk. He doesn't get in the way of that. As long as, well, we already know the stipulation. We already know because you mentioned, well, the whole purpose is to be focused. So you're already going to be focused, and that's the only concern in the through the guides is just how focused we are. And once he sees how focused and determined you are, he is on board with that. He says, yes, I like to challenge you, but no, this means a lot to you. You're putting a lot of work into this, and I can respect that. That's the vibe I get from him. Later on in the year, later on in the year. For now, yes, he might. You say you have to blow off some a little bit of steam. People like to win. The whole point was to win, but we saw how that was going to turn out, and in the courtroom, in your favor versus him, and everything you described, like he couldn't, the story he was spinning, the judge wasn't buying it, and finally, like wow, the judge actually said it to him. It sounds like out loud. That would have been what a realization moment. So I think that this has a lot of representation for who he actually is, because I always knew how to look at it. If they're right about these check marks, that means they're also right about like the inside things that they say you cannot see with the naked eye. Those things you heard with your ears, you saw with your eyes, but the things sometimes that the spirit world talks about regarding to him as a person, like you said, he has a little bit of holding on to a little bit of maybe an old grudge, something like that, and would live, emotionally. They said not to. He wasn't meant to connect with you emotionally, but he didn't. And when you resurface back to him, you're gonna be so focused and so much on the point. I think you're gonna be settled in your power. I don't think that he's gonna have the ability to do anything significant, such as like to interfere or to keep you from getting past him to continue your journey to silk. And in fact, it does describe like a reunion or catching up together, and they describe that as friendly. Like they talks about the right timing. Basically, they said, well, why is that? They said near December, like before it's happened. By the way, this meeting, they said it's safe to reconnect with him just before December. That's November. We talked, of course, we talked about, brought up November, somewhere around that vicinity time. But they do have December right there, so I had to point that out. And they mentioned November earlier. So yeah, in this section, right, this kind of like third section. But they said that they revealed that the right timing, which is as we're entering into December, it's like, or it's a turning point in his and your, I guess, professional relationship. And so then you know how human nature is. It's like, am I going to regret having made that post? Even though we're saying all the nice things that, oh, no worries, he's not gonna take it personal, but then you might still think about it. They said that, oh, I'm not gonna regret this, and then it come to finding out that it's like that that's not weighing on his soul. That's not something that he can't kick off. It's he's like if there's any harm done, is like he embraced it, he accepted it. There's a sense of don't worry about it. Like let's focus on, okay, so you're in a new journey. Let's bring in the new year, and I'll be ready, but better prepared next time. A lot to learn from that experience. So he's going to be more tasteful, and of course this gives him a well I don't know why I'm speaking to this like we have a year. I think I'm speaking to since the turn of the year, since you started the conversation. but we're nearing the middle of the year. So over these next, let's say 5 months, 4 to 5 months, he will have really grown, as a person. But we're gonna keep, we're definitely gonna keep an eye. We don't want to get, we're not gonna get too close, but I mean, at least in the realm of like holding a grudge like this one, like he won't hold that grudge. He would have grown, as far as I can tell, to the moment that he sees how important this is, he supports that, for regardless of what has the conversations have been or the actions have been in the past. There's a respect right there. He just has to respect you for it. Mm-mm. The things that we talked about before, like, okay, so we're gonna go back to it, to his current self, the self we've always read, and that is, this guy is not a nice guy and nothing nice he could say. He just doesn't know anything about you to say them, and he can't connect with you very well. Absolutely, and kind of creates things, out of thin air, sort of. We may go ahead and say, and the judge said, "Prove that." He proved that, whoever the judge was, and so I can tell that right now. I mean, could he be, what they call it, provoked? Could he be provoked? I would say, like, outright provoking him to where he feels, what do you call it, diminished. I don't see much of a fight, but you know how that can get. People can, they can shy away from us, and of course, if we're wanting to get people hyped up and confident in us in a beneficial way, maybe like later on in the future, maybe that's not the route to take. Um, so like, where it's just too much, to where you might feel like you've already won, don't need to, like, kind of, like I say, beat him over the head with it. But it's really that, it's what they call it, where he just feels decimated, like he just obliterated, emotionally, like just on all sides. That may cause him to definitely to shrink, and that could be a lasting effect. But I don't see him wanting to redo this. You used your words of, how what to express, like if he wanted to try again. But okay, I'm saying it in just normal language. I just get the sense that, like, whenever I look at him, he seems, when I look at him, like, I don't see any more fight in him in this matter. I respect. He's strong. He's strong. He's a professional, all that. But in this one situation, I see no fight left in him, to be honest. And so it's more. So I'm really looking at him as a person. So I see him. I see this person who, if they were just made to feel like just so small, just tiny. I can only pick up the energy of, like, I'll just pull away completely or detach, but that would be it. But like, if you were, okay, again, if just this post, I don't think that does that for this post. Okay, this is just sharing, like reading around his well being, his wellness at the moment, reading around that the way that he is right now. We're just taking a look at that around him. What's he feeling? What's he thinking? What is he intending to do? What is his next steps? And so this is the things that we're describing. Just the post alone wouldn't cause him to feel this way. So that's why I believe that the spirit is saying it's absolutely safe. It's safe to make the post, but it's like, because this post is early, like you're doing this early on. I think that if it would, maybe there would be a few, hiccups if this was something that was maybe being done, closer, the closer you get to the month of November. maybe that would prove to be have some challenges aligned with it. But if you're like I'm intending to do this soon, even if it's done in June month, even if it's done in June, that would be okay. So like if you wanted to hold off, wait and put a nice post together because you're just I mean it's your experience and you should it's part of your gift. You should tap into it and it's good to cement that. So you should definitely do the post for as far as I can tell. And the only way when they talk about diminishing him, it just means like I mean it's not I mean like a personal outright attack. He might I mean just saying well I'm just being out absolutely like whatever the information's there. He would just shrink away. He would shrink, and then that sometimes these folks are the most difficult to I guess get their spirits up, the morale them into okay, come on, like that was it, like it's a new season. We're bringing a new year. Let's get energetic, kinetic over here. It's like I'm just not feeling it. So it's like well okay, well it's like it's that kind of situation when it comes to like come off across as like maybe like passive energy, passive aggressive energy, the way that he would treat that, like with the next sort of actions would come through for him. But I have a feeling that okay, so he reads your post. He has a bit like as you say, maybe a professional admiration for you, even despite of what he feels. But sometimes, the human quality, we know that if he could win, he would win. If he could rewound time, he would rewound time and get another try. He would do all those things. So, again, we're not saying we're going to take our eyes off of him now. Is that okay? I would say no, 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 no. This is the 3D world, right? Where the consciousness and he's a consciousness. So it's like, yes, we should do the post. Like, hey, I got you on this one, and like you said, and you explain and you teach in the lessons, and yes, he'll feel the jabs, he'll feel them, but as they say, isn't that goes along with being a good sport and the competitiveness in your industry, like right, so it's and then but it's something that he recovers. It's not like putting out a big old hit on him. It's not like I'm, even if you say I'm gonna hit him hard, but it's not like okay, it's a personal hit, and this is meant to like get him to go away, and it's something that he can never really emotionally come back from ever, or or in the mind mentally. So but the way that as you said, I'm gonna do a post on this win on this victorious day that he's gonna say, yeah, she did get me, and but at the same time, he's able to, because some people, it's not necessarily like a forgiveness energy, but it's like, well, it's like a what do you call it, like a humbling experience. I was humbled, okay, that one, and and then the display of mercy, and it's like, okay, you want to your dream is to pathway to silk. I don't mind doing that for you. So it comes across like that. Servitude, the three pillars in the Kabbalah system. You've got beauty, you've got servitude. So it's more like, right. So it's the servitude, and then of course you have the elements of forgiveness, the love part. But that one that's so important with the um, like you said, the like I'm okay. I can assist you. I'm here for you. I'm gonna help that part. That's he will fall more into that space. That would be his pillar. Mm-hmm. Right. Hmm. Right. Absolutely. What I could see in the splendor vibrations. One thing is interesting is this. They they seem to me that they want you to create something to talk about. That's like right off the door. Like what I could pick up on about what they are hoping that you bring something that is meant like from yourself from you. I just get that strong sense. Like it's like they want to learn something new. But the nature they like specialist conversations. So I would imagine that they want the high tech. Like if you talk about anything they want to know, they want you to talk about the inner workings. So I believe that would be high up, the high up that you mentioned, the higher conversations. It feels like that's more intriguing to them because you could describe the outer layers, and that would be fine. But they are more like in the depth zone. Like they want you to go more like deeper, expand on the conversations. So it's like something that you're well versed in, like you're well, like you say, well knowledged in. But they wanted to come from you though. They didn't want to like, hey, here, talk about this. They gave me sort of like an idea, and so they gave me like the idea of they wanted some of the like the more like the depth, like the wealth of knowledge style type of conversation. Like you just have a lot of an expansion in the subject, in the range of the subject, information wise. They care deeply about that. I can sense that because you could talk again. We could talk about the beauty of things, the outside, but then they're gonna say, so what about then? They end up yeah, you end up picking on you, and they say, well, what about this? And you're like, oh, you know what that is then you'll find yourself okay. Well, let's just like kind of like let's look under, let's open this up a bit then and see what makes this wines. So things like that. It's definitely gonna be um, like an in depth conversation. I get that strong sense. They want to know how things work. Is what I see. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm. Right. Now they would love that. Like the business, but what's like the procedure, the inside, like the words that you're using, that pulls on their heartstrings. Mm-hmm. That's what they would want to know. They would want to hear something like that. Mm-hmm. 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 Right. I get the sense that is a sign. They want to talk about the, like you said, the complexity of these conversations, and they know a lot already. They know a lot already, so they're gonna they would want you to shift it right to the deeper talk. Absolutely, yes. So that one's a yes. But what you're describing, in fact, the nature of it is, of course, is business, money. Well, like you described, everything you're describing. Um, like law, like you said, law and money, like you tax and money, and like the maneuvers and where they get you, where they've gotten people. Like they want to know, and what is, and of course you're going to use the proper terminology. That's the kind of, or that's what they are interested in. These individuals. By the way, so they had me walking around this analogy of like I saw these very like like cars. I know it's interesting, and these cars, of course, they are like I believe from another time, and and they were looking at it. They were showing like the body, but they were saying, "Okay, now open up the hood." And it's like they wanted to talk about how everything was set nicely and balanced. Like they wanted to know that was the analogy they gave me. I said, "Oh boy." They don't want, and these cars were nice, like bright colors, right, bright red, and they don't want nice and shiny and glossy. They didn't want nut. They're like, look, we see that with our eyes. Tell us what's inside. Tell us how it operates. That's what they want to know, the details, and that. But of course, we know that the conversation is going to be money and tax and things like that. Everything that I believe you already are knowledgeable in this. What I believe they wanted you to bring this insight and information there, rather than as opposed to like get, oh yeah, talk about this subject, and they would just happen to pick the subject you like. The subject that you're focused on, that you've been preparing for all this time, this is the subject that you're meant to take to them. That's right, because you've been working on this one for a long time, preparing. It's like you've been preparing for this to give a talk on this subject, this very subject. Which okay, all right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The difficult details. That's the one. They want the difficult details. You coming with the advanced knowledge. That's what they want. They yearn for that. Mm-hmm. Yes. Exciting. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. The people need to get that, like you said, they need to get accustomed to or be warned for it, or know about it. One of the two. Either if it's a warning, fine. If it's something they're going to tend to use as a tool, fine. But they might as well get used to it. Hmm. Interesting. Beautiful. Beautiful. Hmm. Okay. Okay. Mm, right. I get the sense, yes, because I get the sense that some nerves need to be curved. Because, some, I mean, okay, so I was thinking about you and it was this is a deep one. I remember a time when you said you were interested in a very particular group. And I said, it's nothing wrong with this group. I just hope that you bring your gift with it when you engage this group. I don't know if you recall, but like in conversations like this, for example, there's a well, especially this both of these are actually the two you just named off, the crypto and the food. Those are big topics, right? Right, that are like falls, and also that there's conspiracy or like theories, or rounded or orbiting these two topics, right? You know of them, and so like yourself, right? Having wisdom and having the ability to touch, to touch the world, and like this also with your gift of information, to bring add conversation, add nuance, add balance, because they, like you said, there could be like the conversations around the food subject, which that's what made me think about this, by the way. You start talking about like your dialogue, right, or narrative is like it's kind of like when you put the conversation side by side, one of them is not going to make any sense. Either we have food or we don't. So which one is it? Of course, we know which one. You're speaking in for behalf of food, and you're like, okay, we just need to let's get this organized and categorized. So that's why I like you bringing. I feel good about you bringing attention to both of these subjects, the crypto and the food. I think it's gonna. The food is exciting. You said, it sounds kind of boring, doesn't it? No, it sounds exciting, because this is this is actually the top one of the maybe you say the information that gets out there that you might find yourself combating. It's about the rounded around the food. It makes for a great story if it were true, but you hope only that something that one of those writers are writing about in a fiction, not in real life though. But yes, so I think it's a fantastic topic. I could feel it that people are going to really like having the conversations, because you could put a lot of minds to rest on this subject too. Open minds up to the whatever direction you choose to take about the crypto conversation. It open the minds to it. People, like you said, people are gonna, okay, now be prepared to know what it is and what you're getting they are getting themselves into. So it's a yes to. So you got two yeses. I have a feeling that you got powerful. You have three great topics. I have a feeling already, without even knowing too much about the third one. Hmm. 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 Indeed, indeed. This is this is very big. This is a big one. Um, this particular subject. Um, like you said, you have to begin to create new structures. Like you said, right? Well, well, that's your gift, of course. Which that also you as a, that's your also your life purpose is to creating universal law, which will then becomes law of the land, law of the kingdom. I love it. This it definitely is a good one. It's a good one. They're showing me. vibrations of like I'm hearing this vibration. Maybe it's a concern, but it's coming through the collective consciousness. Oh my gosh, now we're going to get marched on. So I think there's some fears about, as you say, maybe abuse of all kinds. Like abuse and maybe the struggles of maintaining the calm to the masses, what people can do, what they can't, reminding them that they're still in civilized territory, we're still civilized here. It's not Y2K, no such thing. We're calm here. We're societal members of society. So, it's like all this types of like vibrations, and sometimes it's good. Even, I mean, we know that even adults like structures. They tell me, they say, look, the reason why I don't work for myself, because I know I need structure. I need someone to lay it out what I need to do. I go there and they give me, they put it on a bulletin board, and I know exactly what I need to do for that day, and I'm perfectly fine in that mode. So we know that yes, we do yearn for some sort of structure. I'm not saying people want to, yeah, please come, please tell me what to do. But I am definitely saying people do enjoy having structure, kind of things spelled out and laid out for them. And I think that that gives a sense of, like you said, security. And of course, we know that as we grow and develop, we thrive in secure, like places of security when we feel that we're secure and stable, stability. Infrastructure. Well, we knew that. So remember you posed the question, you said, okay, there's a lot of changes here, and people are worried about should we go somewhere else? I was like, no. By the time they'll go a little far out, and then they'll turn right back around and remember they've got infrastructures that they need to put in place for everybody else, all the young people who's gonna do it. And so it's like, yes, you're gonna have to do the infrastructure thing, stabilize and make stronger from the inside out. That's you. I mean, I know that's you. I was when I say it now that I'm saying it, it's echoing all throughout my aura. I just hear the echo. This is your team, also your team as well. So I think that this is a good one. Like you said, beginning to get the big minds to contemplate these things. Now, by the way, I tend to get information about for example, uh, you're going through, you're telling me you're going through major internal changes. Like but it's like a new way of strengthening that I see. Speaking of resilience, but I see this new, like this revigorating strength that's happening with you. That's I do see that. As you say, throughout Europe, yes, and it is because of the world. Is doing. Is a progressingly. Then it's like, okay, then progressingly we become fortified, stronger, strengthened, and and they're emboldened. Okay, we're empowered. So all of this is coming together. And you said to words that you telling me to say is to keep, as in speaking to the society people, who are living, say to keep still. Everyone keep still, meaning keeping calm. I get that strong sense. That's so it's a this third uh, talk is a yes, is absolutely a yes, and it keeps keeping everyone on their toes, because we go to rest easy, and we're wondering, okay, who's having those tough conversations? And that now, well, Rebecca and others, while everyone is, tucked in or napping or wherever, relaxing. Mm-hmm. Middle of the year, summer, spring and summer, relaxing, and but you're having these types of conversations. Okay, but I also saw that it was good though. This is actually for the greater good. Because when they were teaching me this about, they were telling me this is what makes you as like strong. This what spirit. You're with spirit, and it's that is beautiful to see. Well, from a psychic's point of view, you see all the lights and the brilliant minds. at work. Okay, you get it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Definitely. Um, it's through endurance, and also wherever you go, your gift goes, and yours is by way of information. Like, and what you're talking about, the questions you're asking now, you clearly are bringing your information with you or wherever you are going to do your talks, and this is allowing you to strengthen. Hmm. And the practice is actually all the times, like when like this 90-minute talk, that's when you're actually in practice. It's just that you get better at it. And then like when you're in a when it's say like a battle, like in the they say in the courtrooms, then you're putting your skills, to the best matches, and in prevailing, like that was a nice run. And it's like, do you realize you were just competing, for information ground here? You're becoming quite reputable. So it's all of these things, you're becoming silk, as you'd say. So this is very favorable, like strengthening yourself in that sense, keeping the aura cleared. You've been doing, of course, you've been doing the work this entire time, doing the clearing of the energy, clearing, especially at the kingdom, they say the first chakra, the root chakra, the ground chakra. I mean, all the way to the ground, we have been clearing. You've been clearing that out. So, like nothing to weigh you down. There's nothing weighing you down from. You say you be getting stronger. You're getting better in practice for sure, because, like, right, like you're pulling in these wonderful winds. They're elevating you to have other like life experiences. It's putting you in positions to doing things that were, that you needed. You needed to be doing these things. It's like, do you even want to? Do you even need to? It's like now you're doing them again, and it sounds like it's better than it ever has been than like in the past. It sounds like there's more better experiences with it. Talking this is reference to, maybe like the events that you get to go to, and I'm not sound like you get to do these things, but the things that you attend, and I just see it getting. Remember we say this would have been last year. We said you have talks coming up. I felt like we're preparing you for these talks. All it was all about you being prepared to have. Now you're having like I'm having this 90-minute talk. Very sophisticated, very high information. And I was like, like no problem. It was before. It was how I'm gonna do this. How I'm gonna achieve this. Maybe I should just write a blog. It's like, it's gonna bridge. You'll see. And now they're bridging. It's beautiful. It's beautiful to see, and that's a sign that you are getting stronger, and you're we call it. I guess you're becoming refined, but also you're sharpening and you're honing all of your abilities, and each time it's taking you into new areas of practice. It's taking you anywhere where you're as much as you could envision, and it's with great clarity. Even they're already showing us signals. You becoming silk. There's signs that's already revealing that. In fact, the reading started out specifically on that subject. Though we talked about your dream, but the emphasis is actually all about you becoming silk. By the way, most of the first part of the reading was about that specifically. That was the project that they were referring to. Mhm. Which is a sign that you are getting stronger. Okay. Hmm. 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 Okay. Right. Indeed. Okay. So what I could see in this is this: the guides reveal, um, definitely you're their chosen one. First of all, that's we have to enter in with this in mind. I want to read the highest vibration, but I'm gonna put that to the side. We need to we need their down to earth version first. So what I can see so far is they they have made up their minds that they're this the client wants to go ahead of this. Your client, the client will listen to you, will follow you to the edge of the universe with you if you say that look, you're going to lead the way. You're going to guide them. They will take your word for it. And when it comes to like agreements and things like that, ultimately they can win. They have a few higher arcana. This is of a spiritual matter. It's a matter of transformation. It's a power even, and it has to be done openly. So yeah, the only way they can win is like you to represent them. That's the only shot they've got. Like they have to a lawyer. Somebody has to. They know they come to the conclusion that they cannot do this alone on their own. They just can't do it. I don't know if they give me. I don't know if they give you the feeling like they may have tried or some. It's like somehow it comes across sometimes that maybe that they felt maybe the need to like guide it there and do it their way, or maybe even defend themselves, but somehow, or have somebody else defend themselves who they could say, okay, you do this, do that, and it didn't work out. I don't know if you got that feeling about them, but they tried that, but they come to the conclusion that didn't work. The only way they even have a shot if somebody as yourself would say that doesn't work, so we're not going to do that. They do need someone to have that in them to tell them that because they do get a little bit ahead of themselves, as you might have already picked up on. I sense it's a yes. I see the star in this as well. The realization says accusation. Everything is saying yes, that there is a possibility, a great chance for winning going forward with this. So, if I may read quickly read the other one. The other one says planning. They have to plan this out. They need stability. They need stability. Promoting the right things. They can make little errors. I think they had too much control in the past. I think they're ready to hand the baton over to you, more or less. It's interesting. Like I mean, you are like you're taking on the best by taking them on. Means you're taking on the best, by the way. And it's like it seems worth it. You're among the best. That means you are the best. You're among the best, and you're the best selection. For them to, if they're going to win it with you. And it just have to be very. It does give a lot of warnings about them though. Like you have to, like you said, but you are every time that I read for you, you always say they propose this to me and it's all wrong. No, and you like change it, or you change it and then you give it back to them and perfect it. So I think that you're like, it's like if anyone guided them to you, it was probably universe or their favorite spiritual guides guided them to you. Okay, I mean, okay, so this is the highest vibration. Again, the word caution comes up 3 times. Be careful, be careful, be careful because of their past, the way they've dealt with things or the way that they handled things in the past. But recognition says that oddly enough, the realization, that's the other synonymous, a counselor, that's you. We know that's your signature. The ability to give them even like a chance. So it's a yes. I keep seeing a yes. By the way, sometimes I get like media signs of media, like like sometimes how sometimes you're involved with like situations where it's public or somehow it's in the know. People know about it. This feels like the same thing. By the way, it feels like you're gaining a lot of notoriety or a lot of like eyes or traction. Like you're attracting eyes. Okay, so that's a thing. That might be a motivator. The fact like you have the ability to bring light to things, light to this situation even. So they said for the sport of it, it's a great idea. It's their crossroad, and you'd be part of it. But you definitely can, like you say. Well, I think you could open up. Clearly, it feels like you can open up new avenues. Definitely, for sure. New. You can open up like a new, maybe new insights, bring light to new things, or a new approach. Even if it's you're speaking to the clients, you would say maybe a new approach, but you're talking to the client like, hey, we're going to try a new approach, like something like that. But I also see you bringing new fresh eyes to their situation. It seems positive, like it would be worth it for them financially. It feels like it'd be worth it for your time to to take this on. I'm not getting let's steer clear from this at all. Just a lot of I know this one is going to be one of the ones you might say, "Gosh, I've pondered this a lot, thinking about it." That might come up. Because it mentions sometimes it says be cautious, be aware, alert. Beware. It's like these elements, but beyond that, it seems like you're able to very much hold things together and get the clients the right information. You already had. Oh yes, absolutely. They'll tell you all the stories, and oh yeah, we already said they trust you. If you take this on, you'll find that they trust you a great deal. So, like you said, it would be very wise if you know, speak with each one of their correspondences, because then, since they're gonna turn to you, you'll know exactly what's been going on around their situation. Their backstory. The client sounds nice in my reading, by the way. Like just they kind of like have a friendly energy. I know there's business, but they seem easy to get along with. Okay. Hmm. Okay. So this is about uh, judges. Okay, okay, these are judges and the connection. Okay, let's take a look. So what I can see with the judges, very much down to earth, is what I can pick up on is I see growth. Um, I see a great deal, like a great need for this. Working, working very hard. The risk. They said success will find you. Well, I see success around the judges. Trust. Okay, trust the work. Trust your notes. Trust. Okay, part of the destiny, business wise. It feels like there's a lot of help here as well. I keep hearing like a yes, like things that are being fine or things that are proper, especially things that are written, things in document. It's like a yes, things are in proper order, is what I see. Um, Let me look at the risk. Like, why do they have risk here? You've been getting that a lot. I mean, you got it a few times. Like, risky, risky. Oh, okay, I get it. It's like you've been keeping this pretty quiet. Okay, I get it now. It's just you're keeping it to yourself. That's okay because they said the work is here and it's your destiny. And people usually keep these kinds of things quiet. They keep it to yourselves. You know, this was a destiny. So this one's a full on yes. In fact, you even have some, like, maybe you feel like you've got extra help because there's some angels around you aligning with you on this as well. The process, especially the things, like you said, things that are being written, the judges seem, in fact, one of the judges spoke and said, everything is here. I've got everything. Everything looks in order. A gentleman is man, and he has, well, to me, he has thick hair, maybe even silvering on the sides, um, the brown hair, but he seems to be kind. Like he's a kind. Well, I mean, I think everybody's kind. I guess that's the wrong words. I think he's thinking that he's saying, oh, he was looking. It's like he's looking at the work. And he's saying, okay, everything is fine. Like he seems satisfied. He gives me the, I'm satisfied. Okay, I've got this. Everything like is exactly in order, in proper order. Okay. Even as a judge, even that he would say, as well, what about judging and the judging element? Even he seems, like he's connected, like he has, like this is ideal in the process. It gives me this. It gives me confidence that he's making the right decision. Like he's making a good discernment, but it seems favorable, is what I see. He's favorable. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's see. Okay, let's see what they say. So what I could pick up on is that, well, so, okay. First of all, okay, so there's a theme today. It says success is yours. That's the theme. But now that's in a very specific. Okay, about the draft. Of course, caution for somewhere. We know what's around you, and specifically Um, they something was nurtured. The goal is reached. Argument. They're a tough crowd, that's for sure. They're like very, I guess it's very rigid here. They're back and forth, but nonetheless, success still is yours. I mean, they're still very happy with what they've gotten. In terms of like a windfall, they like your position. They talks about like argument or the position. They do feel like there's growth here, by the way. Like there's some sort of like development. they like your approach. They like what you like your contribution. They like that. Like there, this is there. This must be critical eyes. I see. I feel like there are critical eyes here. Um, hmm I see good things. Like they do. Okay, so they say you have great potential. I don't know. Now you said that you've never heard of them, but when they read, whenever I'm reading for them, it feels like they're saying like how much you've grown. It's like it's like they are speaking as though like they've heard of you or know you, but I mean I don't think that makes any sense at this time. But it feels very much like look at the. It's like they're looking at how well the draft is, and it's saying, well, look at the talent. It's like saying, look at the talent these days. Like this is really good. It feels like that. Like there's a lot of growth here. That's the vibe I get, and it's aligned with leadership. It's like they're looking for. Well, they're looking. Of course, they're looking for that leadership, that special something in your draft as well. That like they're trying to spot out in you, which I believe that's along the lines of like leadership elements. Maybe how strong you come across or how strong you are. They're very analytical on this. They're very rigid. Because sometimes I see them going back and forth. Well, there's this, well, there's that. They're going through every little thing. Um, Make it. Oh, there are some changes in here and there, but at the same time, they're saying this is what we like. It's what they call it when it's like they're make an assessment. Is what I pick up on. Like there's assessing here, but it still comes across nonetheless favorable. Regardless, it's always talking about favorability, goals. Like you hit the points, like the goal points. I guess that's what they're talking about. Okay, you hit the goal points. That's when they mention growth, by the way. So now I understand why they say growth. I think they're looking at look at the development, look how well this is, how good it is, that kind of vibration. But they're saying it in their critical thinking language. And mainly, they also mention that there's also room to nurture. Like they have like there's room for growth. Like there's more that they can do something with you by reading this is saying, well, there's plenty of room, for your talents to grow with us. That's the vibration I get. That's what they're saying. So it feels good in this space. Mm-hmm. 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 It feels like they like when they read for you, they give me this feeling like wow, like the talent's really grown here. Like they're looking at it like you come a long way. Like look how much you've learned. That they're celebrating you as though that they know of you. Like you're different to them than like in the past, or the quality of what you're presenting today is somehow different from the past. It's like wow, you produced this. That's the vibe I get. Like they're like, we've got some really good, some strong positions here this year. It's that kind of vibe, feelings I get. They're very happy that you presented a draft to them. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Exactly. Exactly. One thing I'm picking up on is it feels like we need to make this trip what it's what it's meant to be. This is meant for you to explore. I mean, you need sort of like a layout, but it feels like you needed to explore, especially behind the scenes. Oh, but you're looking from the outside. You're coming in as the visitor, but you needed to be in places or visit places that there's a behind stage, something going on behind stage, behind the scenes. It feels like this is meant to be like a field trip. And so you might be, as you say, looking at the parts that, and we also have to be reminded that we have to include the adventures, like the side adventures that we're going to do while we're there. In fact, we kind of have assignments, for this place. Like we needed to find out like how this machine works. We need to find out like what are the procedures, like maybe getting set up, and how you'd want to be set up, and also the like how we'd want to maybe like interact or engage or get connected with media. A lot of different things, a lot of different elements. That's not what this is about. It's about, no, come and look at our wonderful authors. Come and see if you want to like become interested in become like you're an avid reader. Great, you're gonna buy books. More fantastic. That's what we want you to do. But you're like, yeah, I want to do all those things, but I'm actually going there too to do homework. I got some homework. I got some assignments, some agendas. I'm going there. I'm going to see how this works because someday I'm actually going to be one of you all. I'll be actually be an author, and then I will be a vendor, and I'll be like promote me and my book, So it feels like we're going there with, it's like we're thinking it about it, but in the subconsciousness, it's like, what about me? Like you don't want to just walk around, and sightsee. That's not why we're going. We have to be truthful, but that what makes and it makes it an adventure. Is going to go there for those things along the side of see how things work and flow and mm-hmm. 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 Okay. Mm-hmm. 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 I get the sense that this as an aspirant, I think that it would invoke something in your being to understand why you must write, why you're going to do this beautiful book project that has real characters in and I was thinking about your book just the other just hours ago. I was thinking about your book. I was like, yeah, she's gonna write a book, and I know she's. I mean, she's brainstorming right now. I still see that. I still see that as a project. I don't know. It's you like going to this is the interim of you writing that book. I believe that even Julia, like you have characters, as you say, who are channeled through real, in real life. They're channeled. And Julia, for example, I think it would be wonderful to go there to, like as you say, a part of this, part of assignment work, part of assignment, getting more depth with in tune with character. Maybe the character that she portrays in the book herself, for that reason. But also, this is somebody who you identify, and there's an empath or in like a connection there, and seeing that seeing herself there, seeing yourself there in place of her someday, it that really would resonate. That would resonate because you say as yourself, you're presenting your book, you're doing your speak, right, and you're doing all those things exactly because now you're a published author. And you can say, look, I'm up here now. And like I'm gonna do that now. How did she get up there? And you're gonna know, okay, oh, I know how they allow her, like, what is the process? What's the procedure? What are the steps to take in order to, to get to speak? You know, and so all of this comes, about like to become part of what we're learning, and that's why it's good to choose her specifically because of that connection you have to her. That means you would like I'm motivated. I'm gonna take this assignment serious, all the way from okay now how am I gonna get myself there? I see myself there. I'm listening to her, the character. Oh yes, this is my character is looking so real right now. As your characters are real, and and you're absorbing and taking all that vibration inside. You becoming the vortex for your ideas, your creativity, your ability to explore. That's why I believe it would be beautiful, Hugo, if you attend. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, because you're gonna be there saying or trying to find another speaker. Just okay, and you're gonna say the same. I can be asking the question. Okay, now how do I get myself up there? Okay, and by the way, I would do a different conversation. So you might as well see Julius. Because at least she's our spiritual coffee. She's gonna boost you up. She's gonna lift up your vibrations. You become aware and alert and creative and innovative and want to be hands on because you're gonna be so motivated. Mm-hmm. 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 Right. Mm. Ooh, I hope that you do, because that would be a nice full circle. Someday you'll say full circle. If you do one a post on the festival itself, as- uh, uh, I also believe you. Of course, you should highlight the fact that, yeah, this is a festival and there are authors and speakers, and I think you should tap into, like, because you have done your homework of like how they got up there. Like you going into this, like, you said. I mean, you could talk about like the ambiance, right? That's what I something I would do. But then you could talk about, well, here are these authors, and then how they're speakers and how they're speaking about, their whatever their topics are, a whole range of array of topics. But then because later on we're imagining, our brain says full circle. Of course, wow, it's that time has come. I am now among the authors at this festival. I remember doing a post. Here's a link, and you're like, let's let's go. So I'm just seeing this full circle. I know this is a good post, the one for this festival. You're gonna have so much to write about and share. Hmm. I like it. Okay. Oh, yes. Mm. Okay. Hmm. 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 Oh yes, I love this one. And you were gonna. I hope. Well, we were hoping you would do a post about this. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. Yes, absolutely. So I see this man stepping forward, and now spirits are funny. So I'm seeing this very dark hair man. He's a man of esteem, dark, like the black suit, stepping forward from a balcony, and he's looking down, and he's kind of looking up, and okay, his eyes, and he's saying, I remember he's like, I do recall saying, write a post about me. I did say that. He says, don't, he also, his personality says, don't worry about what I wouldn't want you to do. Worry about the things that I know in my heart of hearts you would need to do that you would need to do, with me, for me. Like, my style, what I would like, my taste. He feels you know him. And he also feels, sometimes he gives me the vibration of a mentor. Like, this man could have, I could, like, you know a lot. I could tell you a lot of things too. I could it show you, teach you new things as well. It's like he can be very instructive as well. Is what he's like. He has a lot. Like, there's a lot to offer, a lot to share. But he's like, he trusts you. He's on his balcony and he's like, I trust you. You know what I would like. What I would, if you were to say anything, you know exactly what I would like to hear. The things that you would be saying about Tim, he says. That's what I'm picking up on. Did you mention anybody by the name of Terry? Did you already say Terry? Okay. Because he's saying hi to Terry. Is that you're supposed to say hi to Terry? Who is Terry? Is there a Terry? Well, there is a Terry. You said Terry, but he's saying something about saying hi to Terry. So he says hi Terry, hi, like he's saying hi. So I get this. There's a connection there. He's saying yeah. I mean I want to do this. I mean I want you to write about me. It's like I want you. I want people like my story to be told. Somebody tell my story. But specifically, he says you by name. Um, did you say anybody by the name of Cassie? Did you mention somebody? Okay, okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. Because he talks. He's mentioning somebody with like the C initial. I see like the Cassie, it's that vibration. You said Kathy, but it's that vibration, and he's mentioning he's like hey, like it's like hey friend, like hey girl, like hey there's my lady, hey like hi, like he's very like what do you call it? Like he says like he's greeting. He wants to greet everybody. He's like hello, hi, you know, tell everybody I'm happy. I tell like do this because you're gonna touch hearts. Like you said, you're gonna talk about his friends, about people he knew. Like he's enjoying these individuals. He's enjoying the people there. So he said, "Yes, go. Let's do this. Put it like you'll put a smile on this face if you do this. If you write, in your voice, and it's about him. It's a respect." Full, it's respect, like it's respecting him, is honoring him. He says he's going to enjoy it. He's going to love that. He says he truly will love it. He will like it. Mm-hmm. Yes, you should ask him. Yes, I had the feeling. Yes, he didn't mention Neil, but one thing that you brought Neil into the energy while everything is sensitive over here, and I get this strong sense that it kind of slipped his mind. He has a lot on his mind. And it kind of slipped in his mind, so he did need a little prompt or like a reminder to that you would like to have the eulogy, have his he just need a little reminder. It's not that he didn't want to, or it's just that it literally it's like slipped away. Like over time, it slips away from his mind. Hmm. A pleasure. Will do. Okay, will do. I don't mind being a medium for her. I will find missing objects for her. Okay. I'm getting out of here before they have a chance to, and I'll come back a little later. Okay. So that's my gift at work. So let's see. Why is it like that? Oh boy, you all are not seeing. My gosh. Uh, it's way. Oh. I'm not gonna do the 360 video. I didn't know it does that. Oh well. Oh. I did, I did that video for 2 hours. This is the one time I was like, I don't need to bring up the studio from now on. I'm bringing up the studio every time after this. Okay, oh boy. Oh my gosh. Oh boy. Dang gosh. Oh my god. Whew. Oh. Okay. I'm gonna get out of here.